Hi, this is Shannon from SIS4teachers.org. Thanks so much for joining us for a really fun competitive game called Checkmate. It's a strategy game that you and your partner are going to play to see who is the most strategic. This is a part of our strategy game collection that you can find on SIS4teachers.org/shop. This game is real simple and the game board looks a lot like a checkers game board if you've ever played checkers before. You're going to choose which color counter you and your partner are going to have. And the example I'm going to be showing you is with blue counters and red counters, but of course if you have different colored counters in the classroom, it's fine if you're going to use it. We're going to have one person be the single counter, which in our example is going to be red, and the other player is going to have 4 counters, which in our case are going to be blue. You are going to take turns moving your counters. All the counters must move on only the black squares on the game board that you'll see. The red counter is kind of special. It's by itself, but you're allowed to move forward and backwards on the game board. The person that's the blue counters or has the 4 are only allowed to move forward, what we kind of call up the screen. You're not allowed to move backwards. If the red counter managed to get past the blue counters, the red counter wins. If a player is unable to move any of their counters, you're going to have lost. Let's check out what you need. For this game, you need your Checkmate game board. You need 2 colors of counters. Again, I'm going to show it in red and blue, but in your classroom, if you have a different color, as long as one of you just has 1 counter and the other one has 4, you should be great. Your teacher may also have you fill out an accountability sheet that goes with this game, which is going to look to see what kind of strategies you're using. We're going to be looking at the 8 math practices or the process standards to see how your brain's thinking of winning this game. Maybe you're using practice 1 and you're making sense of problems and persevering in solving them. Maybe you're going to choose practice 6, which is attend to precision. Be sure while you're playing the game to take note of which strategies you're trying to use as you play, because you're going to have to select 2 of them to write about at the end. Let's take a look at our game board here. We have our game board set up where we have 1 red counter and we have 4 blue counters. And so on this game board, my partner is going to be red, so he can move forward and backwards in any direction that he wants, only on the black. I'm going to be blue and I can only move forward. I'm not allowed to retrace and go back on my steps. If the red counter manages to get past my blockade of my blue counters, then he's going to win. If there's somehow that I can trap that red counter so that he can't move at all, then I'm going to win. So you're going to keep playing until you have a winner. I'm going to go ahead and be the blue counter and go first. Then my partner is going to go ahead and move. You're going to continue moving using whatever strategy you can come up with. Some students think by being the red counter, they're at a disadvantage because they only have 1, but that's not necessarily always true. My red counter is trying anything he can to get past me, but I'm trying to be as strategic as possible to not allow that to happen. Oh no, it looks like the red counter has succeeded to get past the blue counters. You have to go with a strategy with your partner because through repeated play, you might come up with more strategies that you're thinking of. Remember I was telling you about that accountability sheet that your teacher might want you to fill out? You can play the game maybe 2 or 3 times before you really come up with a really good strategy, but I'm going to show you on here a strategy that I was using. Remember that accountability sheet that I was telling you about? I have an example here of the accountability sheet that I have filled out. We played several times in this game and I was reflecting on how I really was trying to get better and better at this game. So I chose to write about math practice 1. So I wrote, I used math practice 1 by making sense of problems and persevering when solving them during the game Checkmate. Each time my partner tried to block me, I had to think of a different plan to get past them to try to win the game. You're going to select 1 or 2 of the math practices, depending on what your teacher wants you to fill out, so that you can fill out your accountability sheet. And our accountability sheet, you can pick 2 practices that you think you played the most. I would really play the game at least 2 or 3 times before you're going to develop a really good strategy. This is a really great game, and I can't wait to hear who has been the winner and more strategic in our game Checkmate. Thanks so much for joining us.